What if the person bringing your food wasn't just a delivery driver, but something far darker? I thought delivery apps made life safer, easier. One night, I learned how wrong I was. The driver didn't just bring food to my door. He brought something else with him, a presence that didn't belong, and a smile I'll never forget. The night I heard him whisper through my door, I never thought I'd question if I was going to survive a burrito delivery. And the truly terrifying question, when you open the door for a delivery, how do you know the person outside won't step inside? Tonight, we're diving into true food delivery horror stories that actually happened. So stick close and keep watching till the end to find out what happened before it was too late. But before we start, make sure to subscribe or follow so you never miss any new chilling releases. If you're enjoying the content, hit like, drop a comment, and share this video. Let's see how many of you truly love this kind of episodes. Now here's your challenge. One of the stories you're about to hear might not be real. It could be completely made up. Or maybe all of them are true. Watch till the end. Try to spot the fake and leave your guess in the comments. And as for last episode's fake story, it was story number 2. Thank you for being part of this journey with me. And now, let's dive into the darkness together. There's something seductive about convenience. It creeps in quietly, like a spider weaving its web, until you realize you're tangled in it. When I moved out on my own, delivery apps and rideshares became my lifeline. I wasn't antisocial. I had a steady job, friends, even a decent dating life. But the option to avoid checkout lines, awkward chit-chat, and random strangers was irresistible. First, it was an Uber to a party, then groceries, then takeout, then everything. I told myself it was temporary, that I was still readjusting after the pandemic. But weeks blurred into months, and soon my apartment became the only world I lived in. At night, I'd curl up with my dog, Milo, and binge Netflix with the glow washing the walls. Safe, comfortable, predictable. Solitude became my default setting. That Friday, I planned a perfect hermit night. Snacks, drinks, a fresh season of my favorite show, and Milo snoring at my feet. The only thing missing was dinner. So I opened the app, ordered my usual carnitas burrito with chips and guac, and tapped no contact. The tracker showed 20 minutes. I muted the TV, half listening for footsteps. Outside, the night pressed against my blinds, headlights streaking by every so often. Milo gave a soft woof and settled again. 20 minutes passed, then 30. Finally, a text buzzed through. Sorry for the delay. There was a mix-up at the restaurant, but I fixed it. On my way now flat. No emoji, no thanks for waiting, just curt. Something about it prickled at me. I reminded him it was a no-contact delivery. He didn't reply. 10 minutes later, headlights swept my window. I muted the TV again. Silence. No knock, no footsteps. I checked the Ring camera. He was just standing there, still as a statue, holding the bag, staring forward. My chest tightened. 5 minutes. 10. He didn't budge. I texted again. Hey, it's no contact. Please leave it on the porch. The reply came instantly. I need you to come out and take it. I can't leave until you do. I double-checked the app. I had definitely chosen no contact. It's already paid for. You don't need me to confirm anything, silence. Then he turned toward the camera. Slowly. His face shifted into a grotesque smile, unnaturally wide, as if stretched too far. And then he spoke. You should come out and take it. I just want to make sure you get it. His voice was flat, but something under it was off. Every instinct screamed at me to stay inside. Please leave my food, I typed, hands trembling. This time he didn't text. He spoke again. Come on, I can see your TV glowing. It'll only take a second. What are you watching? Ice crawled through me. How long had he been watching my window? After a long pause, he added, I went through a lot to fix your order. Maybe you could at least come out and say thank you, Milo growled low in his throat. Against every better judgment, I cracked the door open, just a few inches. His smile was worse up close, twitching and pale, like something stretched over a mask. The smell hit me. Stale sweat, rot, damp dirt. He extended the bag but didn't let go. "I think I deserve more than just a thank you," he whispered. "Maybe invite me inside." I can't," I stammered. "My roommate's sick. Nobody's allowed in." His smile twitched. "Your roommate? That's funny. I haven't seen anybody else here all night." My blood froze. He hadn't just been standing there. He'd been watching. "I need to get back." I forced my voice steady. "Please, just leave it." His eyes narrowed, calculating. Then suddenly he lunged. The door slammed into my shoulder as his filthy hand clawed through the gap, reaching, grabbing for the frame. The stench engulfed me. Milo barked furiously, snapping at his arm. I screamed, shoving back with everything I had. For a horrible second, his fingertips grazed my sweater. Then I managed to slam the door and throw the lock. Silence. Footsteps retreated. I ran to the window and saw him jogging back to his car. He glanced over his shoulder before driving away. The bag sat abandoned on my porch. I tossed it straight in the trash. My appetite was gone. The police arrived an hour later. I handed them the texts, the ring footage, my statement. The officer took notes. Sympathetic, but detached. "Without an actual assault, it's hard to take further action," he said. I didn't sleep that night. Every creak of the building felt like him. Every car slowing outside made my heart spike. 4 days later, my phone rang. Unknown number, same area code. "Hey, it's me," the voice said. I froze. "I've been thinking about you," he continued, disturbingly casual. "That show you were watching?" "Pretty good. I checked it out myself." My skin crawled. "We should hang out sometime. You still like burritos, right?" I hung up, shaking, and called the police again. They promised a temporary protection order. Days passed with silence. Then one night, coming home from work, I saw it. A brown paper bag sat neatly on my doorstep. Same order, same handwriting. My name scrawled across it. I hadn't ordered anything. I glanced at my ring cam. The feed was black. The device had been unplugged. Heart hammering, I grabbed Milo and called a friend to stay with me. I couldn't be alone. The next morning, I checked the footage history. The last clip was from 3 a.m. The angle was wrong, tilted slightly upward. It showed my bedroom window, from outside. I was doing DoorDash one night, somewhere around 12:30, maybe closer to 1 a.m. Late night runs never really bothered me. I'm a night owl, and at the time my schedule was flipped anyway. There's something calming about driving when the world feels half asleep. Empty streets, no honking, no rush. That night had been slow. Just a couple small orders. So when a McDonald's pickup popped up, I accepted immediately. Easy, 15-minute drop-off. I swung by, grabbed the food, set my GPS, and put my music on low. The streets were dead. Not even dog walkers or stragglers. Just red lights cycling pointlessly, like the city was running on autopilot. Everything felt suspended. The route eventually pulled me off the main road into what looked like an older business district. Normally those areas are neat. Manicured grass, lit parking lots, clean storefronts. Not this one. This place looked abandoned. The buildings were squat and boxy with boarded windows, chipped paint, and weeds that had overtaken the sidewalks. The street lamps buzzed weakly, most of them flickering. My gut tightened, but I told myself not to overthink it. Old neighborhoods look creepy at night. The GPS pinned me to a small, windowless office building that looked worse than the rest. No signs, no lights, just a squat box with a wall of peeling beige paint. As I pulled around back, my phone buzzed. "I see you." Bring it to the gray metal door on the side. I looked right. Sure enough, there it was. A plain steel door, no markings, no windows. It looked less like an entrance and more like a fire exit. Weird, but I'd had stranger requests. I parked, grabbed the bag, and stepped out. Halfway to the door, my phone buzzed again. "Just bring it inside." I stopped cold. Almost nobody asks you to go inside, especially at 1 in the morning. My instinct screamed, "Drop it, snap the pic, leave." But I was tired, and figured maybe it was a late-night worker who didn't want their food stolen. I pulled the handle. To my surprise, it opened. The air that spilled out was stale and metallic, like rust and dust. Inside, a long hallway stretched forward, lit by weak emergency bulbs overhead. The light wasn't enough to see clearly. It left sections of the hall in shadow, like missing teeth. I stepped 1 foot inside. No reception desk, no chairs, no sound of machines or voices, just the quiet hum of those dying bulbs. I hesitated. Where was I even supposed to leave this? Click. The door behind me. I spun and saw the handle twitch. Then lock. My stomach dropped. I lunged at the handle, pulling hard, but it was sealed shut. Someone had just locked me inside. For a frozen moment, my brain refused to catch up. I stood gripping the bag of food, heart pounding, until the adrenaline hit like a slap. I dropped the order and slammed my shoulder into the door. Nothing. The only way was forward. I crept down the hallway, shoes echoing too loud on the concrete floor. The walls were lined with closed doors, plain, office style, but all shut tight. I didn't dare try them. Halfway down, I heard it, creak. A door, deeper inside, slowly opening. Then, click. Closing again. My body went rigid. I wasn't alone. I backed against the wall, pulse hammering in my ears. Then, suddenly, footsteps, heavy, fast. They echoed down the hallway I'd just come from, pounding toward where I had entered. I bolted. I ran down the corridor, breath ragged, trying doors at random. Most were locked. I finally found one that opened into an office room. I ducked inside, pressing myself flat against the wall. Seconds later, footsteps thundered past. Whoever it was didn't slow. They were heading straight for the door I'd come through, maybe checking if I was still trapped. For a moment I thought I'd be safe. Then I heard it. The footsteps slowed, stopped, then turned. They started coming back, slower this time, deliberate. I pressed my hand over my mouth, lungs burning as I tried to stay silent. The steps drew closer. They stopped right outside the office door. I could hear breathing, heavy, uneven, almost wheezing. The handle rattled, once, twice, slowly. I bit down hard on my lip, praying the door was locked. After what felt like forever, the footsteps started again, retreating down the hall. I waited, counted to 30, then to 60. Only then did I risk moving. I slipped back into the hall and ran. My chest was on fire, but I didn't stop until I found another metal door. I shoved it open, and to my relief, it gave way. Cool night air hit me. I stumbled outside, sprinted for my car, and peeled out so fast my tires screamed. My hands were shaking so badly, I could barely keep the wheel straight. I pulled over a mile away, shaking, and called the police. Explaining what happened was harder than I thought. I hadn't seen the person. I didn't know what they wanted. All I had was the fact that someone locked me in an abandoned building and chased me. The dispatcher promised to send an officer, but by the time anyone got there, 20 minutes had passed. Nobody was around. Later, I learned that office building had been closed for 5 years. No tenants, no power, no security cameras. So who texted me? That night, I parked my car outside my apartment and just sat there, trying to calm down. When I finally opened my DoorDash app to check the delivery log, my blood ran cold. The order wasn't there. No record of it. It hadn't even existed. And yet, sitting on my passenger seat, I saw the brown paper bag I'd dropped on the hallway floor. The same McDonald's order. Cold. Untouched. A sticky note was pressed to the side. In jagged handwriting, "Next time, don't hide. Don't." To earn some extra cash on weekends, I started working late-night shifts as a delivery driver for a local app-based service. Friday and Saturday nights were the busiest. People winding down from parties, drunk, hungry, and craving junk food. I didn't mind the hours. They were quiet, and the tips were usually decent. One particular Saturday, just after 1 a.m., I received an order from a guy named Brent. He wanted a small meal from Burger Palace, just 2 plain cheeseburgers. The app showed his house was only a few minutes from the restaurant, tucked away on the edge of a neighborhood called Forest Grove. The GPS directed me to a quiet cul-de-sac that splintered off from another dead-end road, right up against a wooded area lining the interstate. The neighborhood was still and eerie in the early hours. No lights, no people, not even the sound of a TV behind closed windows. When I reached Brent's place, I didn't want to ring the doorbell and wake anyone up, so I tried calling the number attached to the order. 1 ring, then voicemail. A moment later, I got a text. "Come to the door." I grabbed the bag and walked up to the front steps. The porch was made of old, creaky wood, and the dim light above the door flickered slightly as I approached. The front door opened slowly before I could even knock. A bald man in his 30s stood there. He was barefoot, wore a stained tank top, and the stench of alcohol hit me before he spoke a word. He didn't say much, just looked at me, glassy-eyed. Then, slurring slightly, he said, "Hey, can you bring it into the kitchen? I'll get your tip." Normally I wouldn't go inside anyone's home, but a tip is a tip. Besides, I was tired, ready to finish the shift, and he didn't seem immediately threatening, just drunk. I stepped inside. The kitchen was lit only by a small plug-in nightlight, casting a dull orange glow. The air was thick with an acrid, sour smell that seemed to stick to the back of my throat. I placed the bag on the cluttered counter and waited. Minutes passed. The guy had gone down into the basement to grab some singles, and it was taking far too long. I shifted from foot to foot, uneasy. The silence in the house wasn't normal. It was like the walls were swallowing the sound, and the smell. It was getting worse. I wandered into the living room next to the kitchen, hoping to find a place to sit. The only light was coming from the muted television. The source of the stench hit me stronger here. Rancid, thick, like rotting meat. I noticed the sliding glass door to the backyard was cracked open slightly, as if someone had recently gone out. Curious and instinctively seeking fresh air, I walked over. As I stepped onto the back deck, the smell intensified. Then I heard it. Flies. A loud, buzzing cloud of them hovered near 2 large black trash bags slouched beside the door. A motion sensor light flicked on, revealing the scene in cold clarity. The bags weren't just full. They were overstuffed, and each contained a long, human-shaped outline. My stomach dropped. I froze for a moment, trying to rationalize what I was seeing, but there was no denying the grotesque implication. Suddenly, waiting for a tip didn't seem important anymore. I hurried back through the sliding door into the house, heading straight for the front entrance. Just as I reached for the handle, I heard Brent's voice behind me. "Hey, I found some bills," he said casually. I turned. He was smiling with 3 crumpled singles in his hand, coming up from the basement stairs. His smile faded the moment he glanced at the backyard light still glowing. "You go out back?" he asked, voice cold, eyes locked on mine. "No, I just thought I left something in my car," I lied, heart thumping. He didn't respond. He just stared. Trying not to provoke him, I thanked him for the tip and opened the door. As I stepped outside, he suddenly grabbed my shoulder. I yanked away without hesitation and bolted to my car, barely noticing that he hadn't even bothered to close the front door. As I threw the car into reverse, Brent disappeared into the house. Then, like a scene out of a nightmare, he burst out seconds later, this time wielding a long, rusted metal rod and sprinting toward my vehicle. I gunned the engine and sped off, my heart pounding, not stopping until I was 2 blocks away. I pulled over, shaking, and dialed 911. I stayed on the line, guiding officers to the house and describing Brent in as much detail as I could. Within minutes, 2 squad cars turned into the street. I watched from down the block as flashlights danced across the yard. Brent, if that was even his real name, had already started dragging the bags toward the tree line. The police caught him in the act. The bags did, in fact, contain human remains. Everything about that house had been wrong. The smell, the dim lighting, the unlocked back door, the casual attempt to lure someone deeper inside. It was as if he didn't care anymore. Or maybe he thought no one would notice, that no one would survive long enough to tell. He was wrong. If you've made it to the end of this video, let me know in the comments which story creeped you out the most, and if you could survive only one of them, which one would it be? Don't forget to drop your guess. Which story do you think was the fake one? Also, if you enjoyed the episode, hit super thanks if you're on YouTube, or send us some stars if you're on Facebook to show some love and make your comments stand out. Want to go next level? Get early access to upcoming episodes, exclusive members-only content, and much more by joining our YouTube membership or becoming a Patreon supporter. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's waiting there for you. Don't forget to like, share, and catch up on our previous episodes. And now, stay tuned for the next horror episode.